Alright, as I'm riding along here, let me think of a number 6 for you. Number 6. When you're riding, notice the position of your hand on the throttle. I'm going to take my hand off the throttle for a second. Put my hand back on it. And that's okay, but I prefer if I grab a little bit like that. I don't know if you could see that subtle movement. But I try to grab with my wrist a little bit low. Let me put this in cruise control. So my wrist is a little bit low when I grab, and then I turn, so it's even lower. Not so that it's uncomfortable, but just so that if I have to reach for the brake all of a sudden, it makes the bike gear down, or the engine, you know, reduce throttle automatically as I'm grabbing for that brake. I see people all the time, they grab way forward like that, and then if they start to go, it's like, and they're gonna, you know, maybe put the bike into a wheelie, lose control somehow. So keep your wrist kind of low on the throttle. That way when you go to reach the brake, you see how I just did that? You reach the brake and there you go. The bike engine's down a little bit. You love my technical terminology? I suppose I ought to figure this out. I'm going to go to the right. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Now, on long trips, it can get tiresome. So I bought a wrist brace, you know, one of those leather jobs. Makes you look like a biker out of the 70s. I also got the throttle rocker. That's a little thing you put on the end there. See the rubber thing for it? And you kind of just palm down to get the throttle, you know, to rev up. It was alright. I didn't like it all that much. And of course there's always cruise control, which I have. You know, some people don't have it. A lot of people don't have it, but I do. So use that. Work smart, not hard. Especially when you're on long rides. Oh, I forgot to show you one. Alright, when you go to a stop sign, right? If you have to come to a complete stop and put your foot down, which you should do anyway, but I don't always. As you saw back there, I didn't. But I did stop, or, you know, slow down so much that I could look up the road, make sure nobody's coming, everything is good, and then I throttled on. But sometimes there's a turn that I go to sometimes where I have to stop, put my feet down, and look both ways, because you never know who's coming over the hill. And in that case, the question is, do you look to your left as you're stopping, or do you look straight ahead as you're stopping? I find it's safer and better for me if I look straight ahead and up as I'm stopping. Because if you look down, you go down. I try to look up, keep my attention focused upward. Sometimes I can do it where I can look to my left, like I did back there. I'm slowing down, but if I'm actually going to stop and put my feet down, I notice that I have to look straight ahead, or I feel better looking straight ahead most of the time. Alright, here's another one. Here's a bonus one. Whenever you go to a gas station on a Harley, I don't know about other bikes, but on a Harley it's pretty much true. Sorry, on a Harley Ultra, this is true. If you have a Harley Ultra, one of these center gas tank dealies, I find it's best to fill up from the left-hand side of the bike. You pull in, and you don't turn the handlebars all the way, and you leave them kind of straight. You can turn them if you want to, but to leave them kind of straight is even easier. And you fill, and that way you can look in. Because the bike's lean toward you, you can see better inside. If you get on the other side, you try to fill. Now the bike's leaned away from you. You got to lean way over to take a look to see. Because, you know, the last couple of inches that you want to fill the bike up, you want to be able to see that so you don't overdo it and spill the gas everywhere. So I think it's better to fill up from the left-hand side, at least on an Ultra or a center gas tank type thing. Not tank, but you know what I mean, the nozzle. I'll give you another bonus one. If you can afford it, try to get armored gear. As much armament as you can do. Abrasion resistance is one thing, that's important. The other is impact resistance. So I've got the armor here, I've got the armor in the jacket on the elbows and the shoulders. I don't have the back pad, I really ought to get that. Knees and hips. I don't have my armored jeans on today because I'm stupid. But I do have the leather on there, so you can see at least I have some abrasion resistance if I went down. Okay, here's another one. Number 8. You know how they teach you how to pick up your bike if you drop it? Especially if I always watch these videos where they're picking up a bike like this. Big, heavy bike, Harley. What you're supposed to do is you turn the handlebar into the tank, whichever side it's on, you know. So if, let's say the bike falls on the left side, you turn the left handlebar all the way into the tank. You stand on the left side, you crouch all the way down, and you put your back up against the bike and you push with your legs. You lift with your legs. You don't lift with your back, you don't lift with your arms, you lift with your legs. And you can walk the bike up. That's what they say, walk the bike up. Watch, you can see videos on it. I once helped a guy lift up a Goldwing that he tipped over. And he was in his 70s. This poor guy, and I'm thinking, this guy's not going to be able to lift this bike. And he looked all confused because I don't think he was experienced. He was with his wife, and they both just went toppling over. So I ran over, and I had that bike back up and ready to go in no time at all. But I was, 37. Well, last summer I was practicing, and during the practice I fell down. So the bike tipped over, and I went toppling off of it. And my friends, Mark and Jay came running over and they said, hey, let me help you. I said, no, I want to do this myself. I learned this, I can do it. So I did what they said and I pushed the bike up, and man, was that hard, because it was kind of on an incline, So I'm pushing the bike uphill to lift it. 47-year-old man lifting a heavy bike uphill by himself. I did it. I was so proud of myself. In the heat, man, my heart was beating and I had to sit down for a few minutes. I was so exhausted. Watch out for this guy. And then I realized, like a day later, 2 days later, when every muscle in my shoulders and my neck were just killing me, that I was stupid. My friends were right there. I could have just said, help me lift this bike up. But I didn't. I said, I want to do it myself. And I did. And I was proud. And then I was ashamed of myself for being so stupid. Big He-Man, I can lift the bike. Next thing you know, I can't move for 3 days. So my advice to you, if somebody's around, use them. Ask someone to help you. You don't have to be a He-Man. Pull muscles. Ask someone to help you. That's why I don't practice so much when I'm by myself, because if I go down again, I don't want to pull all my muscles getting the bike back up. Plus, if I ever had a bad go down, then I'm stuck in a parking lot all by myself. Sure, I keep my cell phone on me, but it's always better to have a buddy when you're doing stuff like that. Look at all this gravel. My God. It's one of those work smart, not hard kind of things. You don't have to be a He-Man. Number 9. You don't have to be a Rocket Joe hero. Or Joe Rocket Hero, whatever they want to call it. Everybody is envious of those guys who, scrape it in every twisty and go a gazillion miles an hour. And they're fun to watch. Hard to do. You don't have to be a hero. You don't have to be an awesome dude. You just be safe. That's all. Just be safe. That's what they say, ride within your abilities. Well, that's a very true statement. Riding a motorcycle is fun in and of itself. You don't have to go pushing it to the limit every second of every day.